I'm here tonight to tell you a little bit about the fastest growing sport in America. Does anyone know what this is?
Wiffle ball.
Pickleball? No.
A pickleball. It is a pickleball. I was introduced to the sport about 6 months ago when my life was falling apart. I lashed out at my sister and said, "I don't want to talk about it anymore." And she said, "You need to find something new to talk about." About an hour later, she showed up at my house with 2 pickleball paddles and 3 balls. Well, now I'm hooked, and I dug into researching this for tonight's speech. I'd not heard of it before maybe 2 years ago. Any guesses on the year it might have been invented? Wild guess.
1980.
I was going to say 82.
1920s?
2000.
1965. 1300 was a little early. I think it had to come after the wiffle ball. So 1965, the story goes that there were 3 congressmen from Washington State who had been out golfing all day. They came back to their homes on Bainbridge Island, which is just a ferry ride away from Seattle. And when they got home, their wives said something along the lines of, "Your turn to watch the kids, we're going to have some wine." So the 3 men took the children outside to the yard where they had a badminton court set up. The kids were all different ages and they couldn't get them interested. So what they did is they took the net, which is more like a volleyball net, and lowered it down to the ground. The standard height is now 36 inches at each side and 34 inches in the middle. Then they grabbed a wiffle ball. It's easy to catch, nice size, abundant and cheap. They ditched the badminton rackets, which have a long handle and head, and it's hard for small children to control them. So they grabbed the ping pong paddles from their game room. It's now evolved a little bit, but very similar. And they started to play. As they needed more paddles, they eventually resorted to a jigsaw and marine plywood. Very creative. The game evolved as they started to play. So right now, they've kept the dimensions the same as the badminton court, which is 20 feet wide, 44 feet long, 22 feet on each side of the net. As they started to play, they realized they needed to develop what they call a no volley zone. So if you picture that the net is in the center, 7 feet out from each side of the net, you can't step into. That's kind of a no man's land. The only exception is if a ball drops over the net, you can step in after the ball has bounced to return it to the other side, but you have to immediately step out. That no volley zone is now called the kitchen, sticking with the theme of pickleball. Other rules are that you can only score when you are serving, and you retain the serve as long as you keep scoring. Once you stop scoring, you don't lose a point, but once you don't score, the serve passes to the next person. Interestingly, the game is most commonly played as a doubles game. I'll get to that in a minute. But part of the reason for the explosive growth is the very low barrier to entry. You can pick up a pickleball or 3 balls and a paddle for about $20. If you want to go all out and get the fancy ones, you can spend $40. There are more expensive ones, but honestly, it doesn't help your game much for a long time. The other reason for the tremendous growth is the pickleball culture. It's become a huge social game. As I mentioned, it's most commonly played as a doubles game. That can be a challenge if you're single. But the odd thing about this culture is that it is one where people say, they post on different avenues, "Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, anyone want to play?" And that's a group I belong to in Westfield. About 15 to 20 people will show up each Saturday morning. 4 to a court. The winners stay on, split. 2 more people come on. It doesn't matter your skill level. It doesn't matter if you know the people. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. It doesn't matter what you wear. It's a great social sport. Each week, I really look forward to the games and the social interactions. So the next time you're stuck watching someone's kids and you're trying to entertain them, you might try looking around at the myriad of toys, games, different things. See what you have on hand and see what odd combinations you can create to come up with the next new sport. The marriage of badminton, wiffle ball, and ping pong has created a new passion for me. Thank you.